I'd like to welcome all of you to this very special occasion. AJ and Shadi remind you that this is an unplugged ceremony, and they ask you to please turn your phone on silent now. And please do not take your phones out at any point during the ceremony, because we've got some wonderful photographers that will remember it all for us. Would you please all stand? Please be seated. And thank you to John Sinisfeld for the music this afternoon. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Good afternoon, friends, family, and welcome to a truly joyful occasion. And Lord knows we need some joyful occasions this year. It is my hope that when we look back on the year 2020, we will first and foremost remember it as the year that saw the union of two wonderful individuals as they become one today. What makes today so important in the life of this couple are the promises, the vows that they're making to always be there for each other, in front of us, their friends and family. We also take this opportunity to remember those beloved family members who are no longer with us today, including John Blackwelder, Jim and Donna Root, Dea Riso, Jim Root Sr., who just passed last week, and Donna Frohlich. Sue and I have known AJ since he was a toddler. We met the Root family shortly after moving to Michigan in 1990, and we spent many summer days like today together on the Root family farm in nearby Britain. Sue was with AJ when his mother gave birth to his sister Samantha. She's fond of telling the story of that day when AJ, at the wise old age of about 5, climbed up on a step stool, peered over the side of the crib in the hospital room, gave a quick glance at the tiny baby, quickly sized up the situation, and cried out, "Sue, I have a sister!" We spent weekends with the family up north climbing the dunes of Silver Lake in Jim's beloved buggy, and we became part of the extended Root families. Of course, as time marched on, AJ went away to school, and after grappling with what he wanted his future career course to look like, made the fateful decision to enroll in the Dave School. When we first learned of his choice, I remember thinking, there's a school named after Dave? But one of the few times when I thought before speaking, until today of course, I did a little research and discovered that Dave stands for Digital Animation and Visual Effects. AJ was a talented artist, but he was wise enough to know that we're living in a digital age, and melding his artistry with computer design would be a good way to monetize his talents. And besides, spending the winter in Orlando wasn't too bad either. But little did he know that the Dave School would not only train him for his future employment, it would also lead him to meet his life's true love. Shadia is the perfect yin to AJ's yang. Together they complement each other and they have a natural chemistry, as do all great couples. As Shadia's family and friends know, she's an amazing listener, very organized and focused, and has an unusual combination of art and leadership skills. Her mom, Paula, helped provide me some details proudly of Shadia's life before she and AJ met. Some of the highlights include her musical ability. She played violin for 7 years and plays piano by ear. Before I melt completely. While Shadia loves all animals, cats are her favorite. In high school, she participated in a Florida Rotary leadership event called Seminars for Tomorrow's Leaders, which I found particularly wonderful since Sue and I are so involved in Rotary. Shadia was also involved in something Rotary has in common with the church. She went on 3 international mission trips to Honduras and Guatemala. I was also fascinated when I learned that she's a member of the Word Nerd Scrabble Club. Now, my 91-year-old mother, Esther, is vicious at Scrabble, so I'm going to introduce the two of you, Shadia. Shadia competed in youth fairs, winning tricolor ribbons with her creations, once auctioned off a cake for $250. What kind of cake was that? Hummingbird cake. As I looked through Mom's list of her daughter's accomplishments, the wide variety of her interests and talents is what struck me most. Shadia was a Girl Scout for 7 years, but also a 4-year police explorer. She even got to participate in a real-life undercover sting. She was a member of the High School History Club, but also the Future Farmers of America and the Daughters of the American Revolution. But at her core, Shadia, like her soon-to-be husband AJ, is an artist. Although when she left high school, she went to college for nursing, she quickly learned that that wouldn't be the best fit for her natural talents. As fate would have it, she too enrolled in the Dave School, which in her case was considerably closer to home than it was for AJ. Isn't it remarkable that both Shadia and AJ changed the course of their careers, and in doing so changed the course of their lives? Who says a college education isn't worth it? That brings us here today at this beautiful, peaceful spot, an oasis in the chaos, a peaceful place away from the worries of an uncertain world. When COVID-19 threatened to derail this special day, Shadia and AJ told me that no matter what, no matter who could attend or where it might be, they would get married on this day. And we are fortunate that the Briskys have provided this lovely location for this special day. We offer them our gratitude as well. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge AJ's parents. Even though they're not physically with us today, they are most certainly here in spirit. You are both fortunate that Jim got to know Shadia well over the past several years, and I can assure you, knowing Donna as well as we do, that she would have warmly welcomed Shadia into the family. For AJ's artistry, as Jim would have quickly told you, came from Donna. There was one more important nugget that Shadia's mother, Paula, provided about Shadia. Growing up, she always earned a certificate and recognition for Bible verse memorization. So let's read a few, and remember, I am ordained, but I am not a religious person, so I'm going to do my best to do this. 1 Corinthians, verse 16-14. Did I say that okay? Do everything in love. All of our conduct, including our thoughts, feelings, actions, and inactions, should be done with godly love or charity toward others. As a sign of that love, AJ and Shadia have written vows to each other. AJ, it's the heat.
Yeah. Shadia, I can't tell you how lucky and proud I feel to be the one standing up here with you today. You are the strength I never knew I needed, and the joy I never knew I lacked. And with that, I promise to be by your side in the best of times, but more importantly, the toughest of times. some stuff. I promise to protect you with everything I have, and I promise to support you during any path you choose to take. I promise to always be honest with you, kind, patient, and forgiving. And most importantly, I promise to love you even when you refuse to put things back where they belong. These things I give you today and all the days of our lives.
AJ, I knew there was a reason that I saw you so clearly that one random day at school. Who knew that a simple hello would lead us standing here together and write all the stories that were created throughout the journey? God taught me the greatest lesson of everything happens for a reason when I realized the timing of when we met. I would have never met you if I would have not failed my first 2 classes of school with an F both times. This taught me to trust and be patient, even when it doesn't seem to make sense at the time. Little did I know that repeating classes would result in the greatest joy of my life. These lessons and the hardships that we have overcame together and came out stronger have molded my promises and vows to you as your wife. I promise to stand proudly by your side throughout my whole life. I will be faithful and give you all the love I can give. I vow to be honest and patient with you, even when it is difficult. I can't promise you a perfect marriage, but I can promise that I will be your loyal, understanding, and forever loving wife that will always be with you. All I ask of you is that you outlive me, so I never have to live a day of my life without you. You and I are one, and I vow to keep that true to my soul forever.
Oh, go ahead. Thank you. AJ, will you please repeat this vow to Shadia? I, AJ, take you, Shadia,
I, AJ, take you, Shadia,
to be my wife,
to be my wife,
to have and to hold from this day forward,
to have and to hold from this day forward,
for better or for worse,
for better or for worse,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer or for poorer,
in sickness and in health.
in sickness and in health.
I promise to love and cherish you.
I promise to love and cherish you.
Shadia, will you please repeat this vow to AJ? I, Shadia, take you, AJ, to be my husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health. I promise to love and cherish you. From 1 Peter verse 4:8, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Your lives together will be filled with fun, mutual respect, and hard work. There will also be challenges and some tough times. Love for each other includes forgiving each other, overlooking past hurts, and building each other up when one falls. Having this kind of love in your hearts for one another, you've chosen to exchange rings as the sign and seal of the promises you are making to one another today. Rings are very large in their significance. They're made of a precious metal and precious stone, and that reminds us that love is not cheap or common, but indeed love is very costly and dear to us. These rings are also made in a circle, and their design tells us that we must keep love continuous throughout our whole lives, even as the circle of the ring is continuous. As you wear these rings, whether you're together or apart for even just a moment, may these rings be a constant reminder of the promises you're making to one another this day. Mitch, you got the rings? AJ, will you please take this ring and place it upon the third finger of Shadia's left hand, and holding her hands in yours, please repeat this promise to her, saying after me, with this ring,
With this ring,
I seal my promise
I seal my promise
to be your faithful and loving husband,
to be faithful and loving husband.
as God is my witness.
God is my witness.
Shadia, will you please take this ring and place it upon the third finger of AJ's left hand? Unless you want to do it on a different one. And holding his hand in yours, please repeat this promise to him, saying after me, with this ring, I seal my promise to be your faithful and loving wife, as God is my witness. AJ and Shadia, it's a well-known phrase that actions speak louder than words. Actions such as the rituals performed today for your wedding ceremony, holding hands, carrying flowers, and exchanging rings convey deep symbolic meaning. They show that you are committed to taking action with regard to your promises. At this time, we're just setting up the table for you. I'd like each of you to take a candle. We wanted to wait so the wind wouldn't blow the candles out. Take a candle and together ignite the larger one to flame. This is a growing reminder that in a true marriage, your lives are both individual and together as one. It's also a symbolic reminder that while we are all one with God, as you are now within your marriage, you still maintain your own sparks of the divine. All right, the candles are lit. Behind you, Shadia. Paul is going to watch out for those candles. From 1 Corinthians 13:13, and now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Faith and hope are far more important than spiritual gifts, and love is greater than even faith and hope. Paul referred to the importance of self-sacrificing godly love. That self-sacrificing love, often referred to as unconditional love, will serve both of you well for the rest of your lives together. Before we conclude, I just want to let everybody know that we'll be having hors d'oeuvres and cocktails in the barn behind us, starting in about 10 minutes from now. Now, with the power vested in me, I am honored to announce for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. AJ and Shadia Root. You may now kiss your bride.